The mines devastated them. I would definitely be upset. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Blaster here. Today I would like to show you my recent multiplayer match I played in Gates of Hell on the Kursk map, using the Frontlines mode. This mode was added not too long ago. It's only my third or fourth attempt playing it, so I hope you won't judge me too harshly. We are playing in the late war stage. As you can see, my team will be the one that will stay in defense. While I have chosen an offensive Soviet doctrine, all three of my teammates meanwhile went with the US, a sort of unexpected lend-lease, I would say. And as you can see, I was assigned to hold the far right flank. Following a long-standing tradition dating back to the good old days of Man of War Assault Squad 2, one of the first units I decided to bring to the fields were anti-tank sappers, to mine the routes where enemy tanks are likely to advance. At the same time, I am also trying to gradually spread some infantry into the trenches here and there. At that moment, I got the idea to call in some engineers to start setting up lines of anti-tank hedgehogs. The only small problem was that I couldn't quite remember which tab the command for placing them was in. But on the second try, as you can see, I finally managed to find the button. I decided to place the hedgehogs in a way that would narrow the corridor for enemy tanks. A corridor that, as you can see, is already being mined by sappers. I'm counting on the enemy not bothering to clear the hedgehogs and instead trying to go around them, straight into the minefield.
Я готов.
Какие будут указания? Что приказано?
Yeah, the prioritization of orders was a bit off on my side, to be honest. I should have issued the mining and hedgehog placement commands right away, since time was pretty tight, as you can see. At this point, I'm still thinking about what else I could bring in to strengthen the defense. So I decide to bring in another squad of infantry, just to fill up the trenches, I guess. And right now I understand that I have forgotten about placing the anti-infantry mines, so I try to solve this issue as soon as possible. But of course, a lot of time has already been lost at this point.
Готовы к бою. Ждем дальнейших указаний. К бою готов.
Так точно, товарищ командир.
And here the battle has begun, and I have not yet finished building up my first line of defense, unfortunately.
Слушаю.
The enemy almost immediately started an artillery barrage on our right flank. Meanwhile, I'm thinking about calling in an engineer and truck to lay more mines, but unfortunately it is still unavailable for another 2 minutes. And here comes the first waves of attacking infantry. I am doing my best to finish as much as possible. At the same time, the enemy is relentlessly shelling us with artillery. Meanwhile, if you look at the map, things seem relatively calm on the left flank. With that many enemy infantry on the field, a mortar feels like a natural choice. If I remember correctly, I'm also be bringing in a howitzer soon. Yeah, here it is. This crater from the explosion will make a perfect spot to set up the mortar. I also don't forget about the ammo crate. This engineer has done everything he could here, so I guess it's time to pull him back to the rear. And as I mentioned, the enemy artillery is ruthless towards my infantry, so I have to consistently bring in reinforcements. Finally managed to call in the engineering truck. Now I will be able to set up even more hedgehogs and mines. I decided to reinforce the mortar position, but as you can see, the cover didn't quite work out the way I had planned, so I had to pull it back a little bit. My opponent is throwing in an astronomical amount of infantry, so I decide to bring in a machine gun for extra support. And I am not forgetting to lay anti-personnel mines in the trenches. Dangerously close to my second defensive line, and I have got almost no infantry left there. Luckily, the mines are helping a bit and buying me some extra time. Nevertheless, a fierce, strange battle begins. Smart placement of anti-tank mines paid off. We managed to take out the Stuck. Unfortunately, an artillery shell finally takes out my howitzer. At this point, I start thinking about bringing in a tank. But for now, I decide to go in some additional infantry instead. The new SG-43 arrived just in time to replace the old one. Unfortunately, this last rifleman doesn't have any grenades. I'm thinking about what else I could bring in, and I decide to go with the sniper. At the same time, I never stop laying mines. Here I am a bit hesitant about what else to build with my engineer. The situation is getting tense, the enemy is already trying to break into my trenches, and I am doing my best to lay as many mines as I can. The dense mining in the trenches is once again buying me some valuable time. Ladies and gentlemen, just now the most accurate shot of the battle was fired. Nevertheless, I'm still trying to lay as many mines as I can. Another mortar is on the way. The mortar. Another howitzer is also on the way. Seeing the amount of enemy infantry and how close they have brought their mortars, I decide to call in a flak truck. My flak truck forces my opponent to finally start bringing in some tanks. Here I bring in fresh infantry and try to move a few soldiers closer to the capture objective, but the enemy's tank destroyer leaves me no chance. I see that my flak truck has finally been repaired and I try to get into it. But as you can see, not very successfully. I decide that it's time to finally deal with that Jagdpanzer 4, so I call in an ISU 152. At this point I realized that it's positioned really far back and hitting it from this distance won't be easy. I look for another suitable target for my Beast Slayer, but end up finding nothing and decide to pull it back a bit. At the same time, my howitzer crew is completely dead, so I quickly fix the situation. The enemy meanwhile keeps sending wave after wave of infantry against my positions. Since the front line has moved significantly closer, I once again order the sniper to fall back. To somehow stabilize the situation, I bring more infantry and another flak truck. At this point, I'm starting to think that ISU isn't as effective as I initially expected, unfortunately. But soon it will get a chance to prove otherwise. And I finally get a chance to take out the Yak Panzer IV, but luck isn't on my side. I pull it back once again and call in more infantry. And now, looking at my struggle, my ally on the left comes to help. Big thanks to him for that. In the end, it was he who took out the Panzer IV. My shot only finished off the soldier nearby. I decide to bring in another flak gun. Problem appears right away. I spot a heavy enemy tank in the distance. This is a job for my ISU. My ally doesn't stand idle either, once again big thanks to him. While I'm moving the ISU up, the Tiger manages to be killed, but just in time a new target arrives, the Nasher. I take the shot. He didn't stand a chance. The only chance he may have had if I missed, I guess, but the distance was too close. While we were taking out enemy tanks, the artillery wiped out almost all of my infantry, and the enemy saw that my ISO was left relatively unprotected. He sends all his infantry in a suicidal assault. I try to stop them with my DSHK, but there are too many of them. Unfortunately, the enemy managed to capture the key capture point, and now my unit's spawn point is very far away. I'm trying to retake my positions back and, if possible, support my allies. My direct opponent got one more Tiger and I am right now thinking what to do with it. My T-34 surely doesn't stand a chance. And here he goes, trying to push me. But my ally is already on the way to counter his attack. And I'm not standing idle either, trying to flank him. Another Tiger has been taken out. Good. I'm starting to feel that my opponent is slowly running out of steam. I move my mortar a bit closer to clear out the enemy infantry from the capture point. Following my favorite tradition, I'm placing it right into a shell crater. So I guess at this point it's time to start sending riflemen forward to spot enemies for the T-34 and my mortar. I decide to toss a few grenades to finish clearing out the trenches. Suddenly my soldier got caught in an intense firefight, so I am shooting back. While I am busy throwing grenades, I fail to notice that the enemy has brought in another Nasher. And of course he manages to kill my T-34. But on the bright side, my ISU has just been repaired. I'm counting on it to take out the Nation.
GG. Got some big noobs on my team lol.
Ha, my main opponent is now on low morale mode. But that doesn't stop his Nation from taking out my ISO anyway. Nevertheless, I'm still hoping to get a shot off before his reload, but luck is not on my side, as you can see. And flag gun arrived just in time. I'm thinking what to do with this Nation. I decide to bring up some soldiers with a Panzerfaust, but it will take them a while to get there, so I'm still thinking what to do. While he tries to kill my T-34, I decide to load some AP rounds and try to kill him with my flag track. And as you can see, it is not very successful. Yeah, the piercing is not enough. But fortunately, once again, an ally comes to my help. So the Nation is down and I allowed AG shells to finish off his infantry. Once again spot his artillery firing and a crazy idea comes to my mind to try to kill him as long as he doesn't have any units left, as for now. And yeah, there it is, it misses a shot and I am firing back. At this moment I think that I got it, but you will see that unfortunately there will be an incident. Yeah, here it is. He ordered a tank and unfortunately I wasn't able to finish off with artillery, but we were really close, yeah. But I guess at this point he just ordered useless tank. It is Panzer III, right? Yeah. Given that his resources are running low, taking the Panzer III was a desperate decision and he won't be able to bring anything bigger now. And meanwhile, I am bringing my infantry closer, recapturing my older positions. My opponent really has almost nothing left, but now some movement is happening in the center, and for the first time since the start of the game, I am able to focus on it. Yeah, someone even managed to steal an enemy panzer, so not for long. And finally my opponent decides to launch another counterattack, bringing in that same Panzer III that managed to kill my flag track and some infantry for support. Luckily my soldier with the Panzerschreck is already here, so I move him a little bit closer. But I see it heading straight for the minefield, so I decide to wait a little bit. And yes, he hit a mine, and here it is, the moment. Classical first try is a failure. Reloading. Yeah, one is down, but there is second on the way. Wow, the mines devastated them. I would definitely be upset. I'm still having the enemy artillery in my mind, so I try sending some saboteurs ahead, but the situation is complicated by the fact that my opponent now has a spawn point almost right in front of my positions. And yeah, here another half-track has just spawned, killing my infantryman, and I'm trying to take it out with my T-34-85. But again, luck is not on my side. But I am fine with it, he just ran away and got killed by my allies. At this point it is clear that the enemy has completely lost the initiative and is just sitting out the rest of the match. They have got no chances left. Only two moments of interest remain at this point. The first is my attempt to take out this King Tiger, which didn't go as planned, as you will see soon. second, my final attempt to finally destroy the pesky artillery. Yeah, here it is. HE shell is already loaded and miss. Enemy ordered another Panzer III, but I'm still focused to finish the artillery. And finally we did it. So right now the Panzer III is our only target left. With this shot I just killed 4 members of his crew, so I already got a little relaxed, thinking I will finish him very soon. But once again, luck turned its back on me. So I remember about my Panzer Shrek guy, who just so happens to be lying nearby. Luckily he already had some experience killing those Panzer IIIs, and yeah, here we go. And my T-34 even survived, though its turret is busted. And here comes my enemy's final attack, trying to avenge all the tanks I have destroyed with this Panzer Shrek guy. I'm trying to cover my hero with machine gun fire. Yeah, but there are too many of them. Yeah, I have got almost all of them, and here is the last one. I'm trying to crush him with my tank, but the time has run out and the battle is over. So you can see the results of the battle on your screen. Share your thoughts on this in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Other than that, I wish you all the best and good luck!